In this video, I'd like to talk about the math question of the day for Monday, May 15th, 2023. And for this problem, we need to find the value of this expression and give the result as a decimal. And problems like these, which involve fraction arithmetic and adding and subtracting decimals, are usually taught in grade school or in pre-algebra. So at this point, go ahead and pause the video, see if you can work through this on your own. And when you're ready, unpause the video and we can work through this together. Now, assuming that you have attempted the problem, let's start working through it. And what we can do first is simplify the expression in parentheses. We'll use our order of operations and parentheses go first. So within these, we are taking negative 9.5 and subtracting 3.8. And since both of these are negative, or in other words, since we're starting at a negative number and we're subtracting, we know that our final answer here will become more negative. So we could just add these together and then add a negative sign at the end. You could think of this on the number line. We are at, let's say this is 0 and this is maybe negative 9.5 here. We are subtracting, we're going left 3.8 units, and we could count that out. It's a little bit tedious with the decimals, but essentially we are adding them and then just making it negative. One other way to think about it is that you can factor out a negative 1 from each of these so that it becomes 9.5. Let me rewrite that. 9.5 plus 3.8, and like I said, at the end we will just multiply everything by -1 or put a negative sign on this. So let's add these decimals and we can just make it negative at the end. So we can line this up so that the decimals line up together, and we'll just add by columns. 5 plus 8, that's 13. We carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 3 is 13, and then we just bring the decimal down. So this is negative 13.3 once we put the negative sign on it. So we can simplify this. This is now 4/5 multiplied by minus 13.3. And we're multiplying by this fraction here, but we could convert this fraction to a decimal and then just multiply decimals since our final answer needs to be a decimal. And you could remember that 4/5 is just 0.8, but if you've forgotten that, you can always derive it for yourself. We can do the long division here. We have 5 dividing into 4, and we'll need to make some space. We'll add in some decimals and some zeros after that. 5 goes into 4 0 times. We bring up the decimal. 5 goes into 40 8 times. And when we find the remainder, we can see that the remainder is 0, so this is equal to 0.8. So let's rewrite this as 0.8 multiplied by minus 13.3. And now we can multiply these decimals. Let me make a little bit of room so that we can continue doing that. And when multiplying decimals, we can write our numbers in a column just like we're multiplying regular numbers. And for this, it doesn't matter if you line up the decimals, but the general strategy is to multiply as if the decimals aren't there, and then at the end, add back in the decimal. And to determine how many places, decimal places, our answer will have, we just count up how many places we have in each of these factors. We have 1 here and 1 here, so our final product will have 2 decimal places. So we can now do 8 times 3, that's 24. We carry the 2. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2 is 26. We carry the 2 again. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. And of course, one of these is negative, and a negative times a positive is negative. And now we just move the decimal. Since we had 2 total places in our product, we will move the decimal 2 places over. So that our final answer here would be minus 10.64. And if you wanted, you could have first multiplied this by 4 and then used long division, divide everything by 5. It's your choice which way you want to approach this. But The way that you can check this is by using a calculator. And you'll just type it in exactly like you see it. You might even put this fraction 4/5 in parentheses.